Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to another episode of the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore transformative practices for a balanced and fulfilling life. I'm your host, Sana, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Joana, also known as the WoW scientist. Joana is a biomedical scientist turned certified holistic coach and NLP master practitioner. She has a fascinating approach that blends science with spirituality to help introverts and sensitive souls transform anxiety into empowerment. Joanna's expertise lies in somatic manifestation, and she guides her clients on how to align their physical sensations with their deeper desires. So, get ready to discover how to unlock your full potential, how to break free from your limiting beliefs, and turn anxiety into greater strength. So, Joanna, it's such a pleasure to have you here today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sana. It's amazing to be here with you and your listeners.
Great, great. So, Joanna, your journey from biomedical science to holistic coaching, it's truly fascinating. What inspired this transition, and how has your scientific background influenced your holistic approach?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say I was always very curious about how things work and how people think and behave as well. So that's why I chose the scientist route. But then I realized that it wasn't really for me because I was essentially a lab rat, not in a bad way, but I was not seeing patients. I was not directly impacting people's lives. And that's when I started to learn more into the personal development and learn more into coaching and doing it for myself as well, because I was essentially burning out at my job and I really needed those tools to empower myself. So that's when I started to learn. And then I realized, okay, I can help other people. I can inspire other people. And I started studying more into the coaching side of things and started working with people. And now I just align the two, the science and the holistic side of things.
Wow. That's a very interesting and really great journey. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with our listeners, Joanna. Now, you specialize in helping introverts and sensitive souls transform anxiety into empowerment. How does anxiety manifest differently in introverts? And what are the first steps you would recommend, advice to claiming control over it?
Wow. I would say that introverts, I think anxiety is manifested pretty much the same, both on introverts and extroverts, but maybe introverts, they don't share that with others. They take it all in. They sometimes feel like they're a burden on others and they don't want to upset or disturb other people with their problems. And so sometimes, not always, but sometimes they lack the words. They feel very intensely, but sometimes they lack the way to communicate their feelings in a very accurate way. So they just hold it all in, and holding something in makes it even bigger. So it makes them feel very frustrated and very out of control. And so to regain that control, it's very important to first have that self-awareness journal, do a lot of tools to process all of that anxiety. Also recognize where it's coming from, if that is possible, and potentially eliminate that initial stressor, or reframe your approach and your interpretation to that stressor. But I would say that it's asking for help, understanding yourself, understanding your emotions, and at the end of the day, asking for help, reaching out to friends, reaching out to loved ones, reaching out to a coach or a therapist, someone that can help so that they feel like they're not alone.
Definitely. And you have coined the term somatic manifestation. So, what exactly is somatic manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
and how it taps into both the body and mind to empower individuals?
Yes, I love that question. So, somatic manifestation is you when you are utilizing your body and all of your senses, aligning that with the analytical side of your mind to manifest something. So, a lot of these tools are very acting as if, when it comes to manifesting your desires, if you have a goal, if you have some desire that you want to achieve, it doesn't have to be a measurable goal. It can be sometimes be more confident, or release imposter syndrome, or release limiting beliefs. That goal in itself is good enough, and you can utilize somatic techniques like meditation, like body shaking, and journaling, visualizing, but a visualization technique that is very engaging with all of your senses. And is just that mental training. And I teach a very interesting technique, a little bit more advanced, but the idea is that you envision or visualize your goal as if it was a memory. So all of this is part of somatic manifestation, cord cutting, meditations and techniques, exercising, sexual transmutation. All of this is really transmuting that energy that lies in the body and the wisdom that we have in our body, and transmutes that into reality and making it so that we fulfill our desires.
Hmm. For someone who is struggling with self doubt or limiting beliefs, Joanna, um, what practical steps can they start to take to start breaking free, or embracing their potential?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I'd say it's very important to have self awareness. Self awareness is always the answer. And in order for you to have that self awareness, you need to really sit in the silence. Sit in the silence sometimes is very uncomfortable, but it's very necessary. So
Mm-hmm.
it's doing that shadow work, is facing the parts of you that maybe you don't like, maybe you're not proud of. You
Mm-hmm.
really need to face all of that side and recognize your strengths as well. That is also shadow work. So recognizing your essence, or becoming closer to understanding what your essence is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would say, that you can then become more aware of what your limiting beliefs are. And then you challenge them. You challenge them. You ask yourself, is this true? Most often than not, they are not true. And if they are true,
Mm-hmm.
do something about it, change them. If they're not true, you can find proof that of the opposite. So someone thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I have low self-esteem. Okay, who loves you? Why do they love you?
Mm-hmm.
And what are you good at? What have you received compliments? So is really finding proof and evidence of the opposite of that limiting belief. At the same time, releasing the trauma and the anxiety and frustration that sits in the body, with those somatic techniques like forgiveness, gratitude
Mm-hmm.
work. All of that can help release the body from this stress.
Mm. Mm. And in what ways, can techniques like somatic manifestations, or breath work, or maybe body awareness practices can help individuals, especially introverts, recognize and release that physical tension or discomfort related to any kind of traumatic or emotional experience?
Because we obviously, when we have our parasympathetic nervous system, we need to calm it down. So we need to just breathe, and breathing gives the not illusion, but gives the message to the brain that it's fine. You are safe. And when you breathe deeply and do a lot of the breath work techniques, that is the message that your brain receives. There's no threat, there's no danger. You can relax. And that relaxation is literally all of the toxicity of your cells being released to the bloodstream and being released as you exhale as well. So this is science backed, and there's plenty of studies that talk about the harmony between the brain waves and the heartbeat. All of this needs to be in harmony, and these techniques, breath work, meditation, these personal development tools, can really create that harmony between your heartbeat and your brain waves that create that relaxation and clearing all of this.
Hmm. That that makes sense. And introverts often find it challenging, Joanna, to step into their power in environments dominated by extroverted energy. It
Mhm.
can be very, very difficult to even say it loud or add anything. So, how do you guide your clients to make empowered decisions without losing their authenticity?
Love that question. I would say that you need to be yourself. It's authenticity. At the end of the day, the world is loud, but if you are in a room, I've seen this. I have family members that are quite introverted, and my family, I'm Portuguese, so we are quite loud as it is, and we gather around the table,
Mhm.
and I have, and when we're just all together, everyone is just very loud. And I have this family member, whenever she speaks,
Mhm.
and she speaks very, very in a low volume, just normal, as you and I are talking right now. Whenever she speaks, everyone silences themselves and listen to her. So there's a power to being an introverted, and being an introvert doesn't necessarily mean being quiet. It
Yeah.
just means being more inwards and needing to recharge more of the social batteries. So you can become quite loud, but that drains your energy way faster. So you can pretend in a world of extroverts, but that is going to drain you. So I would say be authentic, just embrace your power, embrace your quiet nature if that's what your nature is like. Embrace more of that introversion of reading the room, and
Mhm.
know that people respect, because whenever you speak, you have something important. You're not just going to blah, blah, blah. No, you are going to say something important, and there's value in what you're saying, because you just don't use your words for nothing. So there is power in authenticity, and there is power in everyone. The world needs extroverts, the world needs introverts, the world needs ambiverts. So it's very necessary to be authentic, understand what drains your energy, and if you need to adapt yourself in certain situations and be a little bit more of an ambivert or more of an extrovert, that's fine. But you just need to recognize that you need to recharge your energies alone when you get back home. So, authenticity, that's the way that I work with my clients, understanding the power in their essence, the power in being exactly like they are, understanding that when you are like you are filtering out the people that are not for you. You don't want to be pretending to be someone you're not, just to attract a crowd that is going to like you for who you are not. No, you want to be authentic. you want to be your own introvert's empowered self, and that is going to attract people that are like you and that will love you for who you are and that will feel good in your presence. And that's going to be feeling much more aligned with your values and your belief systems. So authenticity is the way.
Definitely, definitely. This is really, really empowering and encouraging for all the introverts out there. And thank you so much for sharing this beautiful insight on how great introvert people are, that and how well authenticity can play a great role. Um, so you combine spirituality with scientifically backed methods in your
Mm-hmm.
practice. So how can introverts incorporate these practices into their daily lives to reduce anxiety and build lasting confidence?
Mm. I have a very good analogy to give you that makes it very easy to understand and to put to practice. So, there is a part of our brain, I won't go too much into it, but it's called the reticular activating system. And I like to call it as our own personal algorithm. So, imagine when you're on social media, and I can tell you that I used to be watching a lot of 911 calls
Mhm.
on social media because they catch your eye. They quite catchy, and you're just involved in the drama, right? So I was just watching those, and I would watch it until the end. And
Mhm.
when your algorithm sees that you're watching something and you're giving your time, your attention, it thinks, "Oh, this is something that they want, so let me give them more." So at
Okay.
some point, I was receiving a lot of these videos. And I thought I enjoyed them, but at the end of the day, I was feeling anxiety because I'm an introvert, but I'm also a highly sensitive person. So all of this creates a lot of stimuli that I'm very sensitive to. So this drama, this chaos really affects me. So I had to tell myself, okay, this is not it. This is not good for me. So I need to stop watching this and scroll away. So this reticular activating system, the RAS, is exactly the same. If you start your morning thinking, oh, why does not no one like me, or why am I not getting this promotion at work, or why do I have to do something that I don't enjoy, and what if this and what if that, and problems,
Mhm.
your unconscious mind is always going to try to give you an answer. So if you ask, oh, why am I ugly, or why does not anyone like me, your brain is going to give you the answer. It's going to say, oh, maybe because you're not smart enough, maybe because your hair looks funny, or so it's going to give you an answer because that is the nature of your brain. Your brain does not like leaving you without an answer. So
Yeah.
it's very important to recognize the questions that you're asking yourself, even if just as an intrusive thought, because then it tells your brain, it tells this RAS, your algorithm, that this is what you're interested in. And this, then you receive more and more evidence that this is the way to think, that you're terrible, you're not smart enough, you're ugly, you're fat, you're not lovable, and all of the worst things that we start to think that then generate anxiety. So
Yeah.
we can start to bring curiosity because when we have a default mode of thinking the worst case scenario, it
Mhm.
can be challenging to change it right away. So we need to change it slowly, and we need to change it with curiosity and playfulness. So we can ask in the morning, I wonder how today is going to be an amazing day for me. I
Mhm.
wonder, what if today something happened that made me feel really good about myself? And so it's just bringing this curiosity and letting it go. And at the end of the day, doing a little bit of a recap with some gratitude, saying, oh, you know what? I went to this bakery and the lady behind the counter was really nice to me and gave me a free pastry, or whatever it is. Then you recall your day and you bring in gratitude and you recognize, you know what? It was actually the simple things that made my day better. So it's slowly but surely, with curiosity and playfulness, you begin to ask these questions and change your algorithm feed, basically.
Hmm. This is really powerful. But
Yeah.
Joanna, many people they struggle with external validation and people pleasing.
Hmm.
How do you help clients set boundaries and cultivate inner validation instead of outer validation, external validation,
Mm.
especially in environments where they feel pressure to conform?
Yes, people pleasing is definitely a problem, and those lack of boundaries are very associated with it. So, people pleasing, I would say that we really need to understand what rules we have for ourselves, because a lot of people that do people pleasing, they do it to because they have been taught that they need to obey.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and they need to just, yeah, obey and what's the word in English? I'm missing it, but like conform, basically. You need to obey and conform in order to be accepted, in order to be liked. So that's what they thought they were taught in their childhood, and it stuck with them. Or they were praised for their good behaviors of obedience. So that's how we start to people please as well. And I would say that we really need to understand what rules we have for ourselves. And if we want to be kind to others and be giving and selfless, it's fine. We can still people please, but at the end of the day, the person we need to please the most is ourselves. And that's when we need to connect with our intuition and recognize if we are just giving, giving, giving and not receiving back, if that is in alignment with who we are. And some people it is. Some people they just give, give, give. But then that leaves them feeling resentful and feeling empty,
Yes.
because that is not people's natures. People, you need to give and receive. So if no one else is giving you, you need to give yourself. Whatever you do to please to others, you please yourself. If you cook a nice meal for your family and you're one day you're alone and you think, oh, it's just me, what's the point? Why am I cooking like a full meal for me? I just get a pizza or get whatever. No, you go and you do that for yourself. You have a date with yourself. You go do things that you enjoy and make you feel good because you are worthy. And talking to yourself, however you would talk to a loved one, you need to have that inner dialogue as well. You need to have those kind words, those loving words towards yourself. You need to be able to tell yourself that you love yourself. So it's a process. It just doesn't happen like that, but is recognizing and a lot of self awareness and a lot of journaling as well. Sometimes working with a professional that can be a sounding board for you. I'm always here available to help. So can be very useful. So is really having those boundaries, but those boundaries come from understanding the rules that society and your parents maybe created for you, and understanding if you want to have those rules for you still. And if you don't, you create new rules and you please yourself first, because you, when you're pleasing yourself, as in like you're and this sounds this doesn't sound very good, does it? But like when you're loving yourself and when you're taking care of yourself, you are filling up your own cup, and then you can share that love with others, and it becomes much more attractive and much more empowering and inspiring for others to see that you love yourself, and they want some of that as well. They want to learn from you, or they want your help, or they just feel inspired, and the whole energy of the room lifts up. So that's very powerful.
That's true. Lovely, lovely, Joanna. And before we wrap up, could you share one or two powerful exercises or rituals that our listeners can begin today to start shifting from anxiety to empowerment?
Yes, definitely. I would say one of the techniques is a body scan. It can be quite fast. It can be done as a meditation or just a quick regroup. It's imagining almost like a line, just going from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your feet, and just scanning your body for any sensations, any pain, any tension, and releasing that as you're breathing and sending love and light to areas that need more attention. So that, I would say, is a very quick and easy technique to do. I have it on my podcast as well. And I like to do journaling a lot. So journaling your thoughts, journaling your emotions, and also scripting. So scripting is a form of journaling for manifestation where you are essentially scripting the way you want to live. So you can script your ideal day, but you write it as if you have lived it right now. So imagine that I want to have, I don't know, $1 million, just an example. I would write down, I am so grateful today to have looked up my bank account and have seen $1 million and all the amazing things that I'm going to be doing with this money and how amazing I feel and grateful I feel and proud of myself. So you write in the present tense the goals that you want to achieve. So that is a two very powerful techniques that I can leave your listeners with.
Great, great. These are some really great techniques. And Joana, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with all of us today. Your journey and expertise, they have been incredibly inspiring. And I know our listeners have gained a wealth of practical insights to help them transform anxiety into empowerment, especially all the introverts out there, including me as well. So, if our listeners, if we want to connect with you and explore about your work, and how you are helping unlocking full potential and also breaking free from the limiting beliefs, turning anxiety into empowerment, how can we do that?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It was honestly amazing. You asked amazing questions, very, very insightful. And so people can reach out to me. They can come on my website, www.mindfulintrovert.com. And from there, you'll find all these amazing tools. I have some free inner peace and abundance meditation as well for you to download and listen to that has this somatic manifestation practice. You can listen to my podcast, The Mindful Introvert, that is available on all platforms as well, or reach out to me on Instagram at the Woo Woo Scientist, and I'll be lovely. It will be lovely to connect with everyone.
Lovely, lovely. We'll mention all the details in the show notes for our listeners. And for anyone interested in learning more about Joana's work or tapping into her unique blend of science and spirituality, please refer the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And until next time, remember to honor your journey and take mindful steps towards living your best life. This is your host, Sana, signing off.